The devastating blowback of using a nuclear bomb in Ukraine and implications of radioactive dust on Russia. The use of a nuclear bomb in any region of the world carries catastrophic consequences that extend far beyond the immediate blast zone. In the hypothetical scenario of a nuclear bomb detonation in Ukraine, the potential blowback of radioactive dust back to Russia, Belarus, or even Poland is high and would create a cascading series of humanitarian, environmental, and geopolitical challenges. This essay aims to explore the ramifications of such an event, highlighting the dangers of radioactive dust and its impact on both the affected region and neighboring countries, with a particular focus on Russia. 1. Radioactive dust, an invisible threat. Radioactive dust refers to the fine particulate matter that becomes contaminated with radioactive isotopes following a nuclear explosion. These tiny particles can travel long distances through air currents, carried by winds, and pose significant health risks when inhaled or ingested by living organisms. The hazardous fallout resulting from a nuclear detonation in Ukraine would include this radioactive dust, which would inevitably be transported across borders, potentially affecting neighboring countries such as Russia, Belarus, and Poland. 2. Humanitarian impacts, health risks, and casualties. The release of radioactive dust into the atmosphere would have severe implications for human health. The primary health risks associated with exposure to radioactive materials include radiation sickness, increased incidence of cancer, and genetic mutations. If the wind patterns carry the radioactive dust back to Russia, millions of people could be exposed to these harmful substances. The consequences would range from acute radiation sickness among immediate survivors to long-term health effects in the broader population. 3. Environmental contamination, ecosystem disruption. The radioactive dust fallout would have a detrimental impact on the environment, affecting not only human life but also flora and fauna. As the particles settle on the ground, they can contaminate soil, bodies of water, and vegetation. This contamination would disrupt ecosystems, causing damage to plant and animal life and potentially entering the food chain. The long-lasting effects of radioactive contamination could lead to the decimation of ecosystems and irreparable damage to biodiversity, affecting not only Ukraine but also Russia's ecological balance. 4. Economic consequences, infrastructure damage and losses. The detonation of a nuclear bomb in Ukraine and the subsequent blowback of radioactive dust to Russia would result in significant economic repercussions. Infrastructure within the affected areas would be heavily damaged or destroyed, requiring substantial resources for reconstruction. The economic losses resulting from a nuclear explosion would extend to neighboring regions, including Russia, as the fallout affects agricultural productivity, industrial output, and tourism. The financial burden of managing the aftermath and ensuring public safety would strain national economies and divert resources from other essential sectors. 5. Geopolitical ramifications, escalation and international relations. The use of a nuclear bomb in Ukraine would have severe geopolitical implications. Such an act would likely lead to an escalation of tensions between nations, possibly triggering a larger conflict. The blowback of radioactive dust into Russia could be perceived as an act of aggression, further fueling hostilities. The response by Russia, as well as other nations concerned about their own safety and security, could result in military action, diplomatic crises, and increased global instability. The utilization of a nuclear bomb in Ukraine would not only cause immediate devastation but also generate far-reaching consequences due to the blowback of radioactive dust back to Russia. The humanitarian, environmental, economic, and geopolitical impacts of such an event would be profound and long-lasting. The potential loss of human life, the contamination of ecosystems, the economic burden, and the escalation of tensions between nations underscore the urgent need to prevent the use of nuclear weapons in any region of the world. International cooperation, disarmament efforts, and diplomatic dialogue are crucial in ensuring a safer and more secure future for humanity.